A fiscal earthquake. The staggering cost of open borders. Open borders. It's a phrase that sparks heated debate. Politicians, economists, and everyday citizens all have strong opinions on the matter. But behind the political rhetoric lies a cold, hard truth. Open borders come with a hefty price tag. This isn't just a theoretical discussion. It's a reality that affects us all. And guess who foots the bill? You guessed it. Taxpayers. Every single one of us contributes to this enormous financial burden. A recent study estimates that the annual cost of open borders to U.S. taxpayers could reach a jaw-dropping $6 trillion. This figure is not just a number, it's a reflection of the immense economic strain. That's trillion with a T. To put it into perspective, imagine stacks of money reaching the sky. Think about it. That's more than the entire GDP of many developed countries. Countries like the United Kingdom, France, and even India have GDPs that are less than this staggering amount. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. These figures translate into real-world consequences. This is about real money, your money, being stretched thinner and thinner. Every dollar spent on managing open borders is a dollar less for other critical needs. It's about essential services being strained to the breaking point. Hospitals, schools, and public infrastructure are all feeling the pressure. And it's a conversation we need to have. Now. We need to discuss the long-term implications and find sustainable solutions. Community leaders, policymakers, and citizens must come together to address this issue. It's not just about closing borders, but finding a balanced approach. Innovative solutions and comprehensive policies are essential. We need to think outside the box and create strategies that benefit everyone. Because at the end of the day, it's about securing a better future for the next generation. The choices we make today will shape the world they inherit. Let's work together to find a path forward that ensures economic stability and social harmony. The cost of open borders is high, but with collective effort, we can manage it effectively. Open borders, a utopia, or a taxpayer's nightmare? This is a question that has sparked heated debates across the globe. Let's be clear about what we mean by open borders. It's not just a policy change, it's a radical shift in how we view national boundaries. We're talking about a world without immigration restrictions. A world where borders are mere lines on a map, not barriers to human movement. Anyone from anywhere could cross borders freely and settle in a new country. The idea is to create a global community where everyone has the freedom to choose where they live. Sounds great in theory, right? The promise of cultural exchange, economic opportunities, and a richer, more diverse society is undeniably appealing. But in reality, this utopian vision quickly turns into a logistical and financial nightmare. The challenges are immense and multifaceted. Imagine a scenario where millions of people, all seeking a better life, flood into a country. The sudden influx would strain infrastructure and public services to their breaking point. The immediate impact on housing, healthcare, and education would be overwhelming. Schools would struggle to accommodate new students, and hospitals would face unprecedented demand. Resources would be stretched thin. Wait times would skyrocket. Essential services that people rely on daily would become less accessible, and the quality of those services would inevitably decline. Public servants would be overworked, and facilities would deteriorate under the pressure. All of this adds up to a massive financial burden borne by, you guessed it, taxpayers. The cost of maintaining and expanding infrastructure, healthcare, and education would fall on the shoulders of the existing population. Economists warn that the financial strain could lead to higher taxes and reduced public spending on other critical areas. The dream of open borders could quickly turn into a fiscal nightmare. So, while the idea of open borders is enticing, it's essential to consider the practical implications. Balancing the ideals of freedom and equality with the realities of economic and social stability is a complex challenge. Ultimately, the debate over open borders is a reflection of our values and priorities as a society. It's a conversation that requires careful thought, empathy, and a willingness to find common ground. Whether we see open borders as a utopia or a taxpayer's nightmare, one thing is clear. The future of our world depends on how we navigate these complex issues. Healthcare under siege, the strain of unrestricted migration. Healthcare is often the first casualty of open borders. Hospitals and clinics, already struggling to meet current demands, would be inundated with new patients. Many of these newcomers would arrive with pre-existing conditions or require immediate medical attention. The cost of providing healthcare to millions of uninsured individuals would be astronomical. And who do you think picks up the tab when hospitals can't cover the costs? That's right, taxpayers. This means higher taxes, cuts to other essential services, or both. Not exactly a recipe for a healthy society. Education in the red classrooms overwhelmed, budgets strained. Open borders would also have a seismic impact on education. Public schools, already grappling with overcrowded classrooms and limited resources, would face an unprecedented influx of new students. Many of these students would arrive with limited English proficiency, requiring additional support and specialized programs. The cost of hiring new teachers, building new schools, and providing language support would be staggering. School districts would be forced to make tough choices, raise property taxes, cut extracurricular activities, or reduce the quality of education for everyone. It's a lose-lose situation for students, teachers, and taxpayers alike. The welfare system, designed as a safety net for the most vulnerable, would be stretched to its breaking point under open borders. Millions of newcomers, many with limited job skills or facing language barriers, would rely on public assistance programs to survive. This surge in demand would overwhelm the system, leading to longer wait times, reduced benefits, and potentially even program insolvency. The financial burden on taxpayers would be immense, forcing governments to make impossible choices between cutting essential services or saddling future generations with mountains of debt. Section 6, Case Study, a city feeling the pinch. Take, for instance, the city of Los Angeles. Already grappling with a large homeless population and strained social services, Louisiana has become a magnet for migrants seeking a better life. While many come with hopes and dreams, the reality is that the city is ill-equipped to handle the influx. The cost of providing food, shelter, and medical care to thousands of new arrivals has placed an enormous strain on the city's budget. Taxes have increased, services have been cut, and the situation continues to deteriorate. This is just one example of the real-world consequences of unchecked migration. Historically, Los Angeles has been a beacon of opportunity, attracting people from all walks of life. Its diverse culture and economic opportunities have made it a desirable destination for many. However, longtime residents and community leaders have noticed significant changes over the years. The influx of migrants has brought both challenges and opportunities, but the city's infrastructure has struggled to keep pace. Schools are overcrowded, hospitals are overwhelmed, and public transportation systems are stretched thin. These essential services are critical to the well-being of all residents, yet they are under immense pressure. Local businesses also feel the impact. While some benefit from the increased population, others struggle with the rising costs and competition for resources. The economic landscape is shifting, and not everyone is able to adapt. Community meetings have become a platform for residents to voice their concerns. Many are worried about the sustainability of current policies and the long-term effects on their neighborhoods. City officials are actively seeking solutions, from policy proposals to community initiatives. The goal is to find a balance that supports both new arrivals and longtime residents, ensuring a cohesive and thriving community. Despite the challenges, there is hope. Community collaboration and innovative solutions can pave the way for a brighter future. By working together, Los Angeles can continue to be a city of dreams for all its residents. Section 7. The domino effect, unforeseen consequences of open borders. The impact of open borders extends far beyond healthcare, education, and welfare. Uncontrolled migration can lead to depressed wages, as a surplus of labor drives down the value of work. This disproportionately affects low-skill workers, many of whom are already struggling to make ends meet. Then there's the strain on infrastructure. Roads, bridges, and public transportation systems already showing signs of wear and tear would be pushed to their limits. The cost of repairs and upgrades would fall squarely on the shoulders of, you guessed it, taxpayers. Section 8. The taxpayer's burden, a weight that's simply unsustainable. Let's be blunt, open borders would be a financial disaster for taxpayers. The cost of providing healthcare, education, and social services to a potentially unlimited number of people is simply unsustainable. It would lead to higher taxes, cuts to essential services, and a decline in the overall quality of life for everyone. This isn't about being heartless or anti-immigration. It's about being realistic about the economic realities we face. We can't help others if we bankrupt ourselves in the process. Section 9. A call to action. Let your voice be heard. The debate over open borders is complex and emotionally charged, but one thing is clear: taxpayers deserve a seat at the table. We need to have an honest conversation about the costs and consequences of open borders, and we need to demand solutions that are both compassionate and fiscally responsible. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going.